I purposefully kept these topics secret.
I have no idea what the hell these are. Neither does Will, if I think.
I love secret topics.
Like, well, I don't even know why I kept them secret. They're not really that that big of a thing.
Well, then this whole thing could have been avoided.
Yeah. But because I have a topic for both of you that we can discuss. Well, I mean, one for each of you.
Right.
So it's just about who I want to start with. And well, actually, I'll start with Danny's just because I kind of brought it up. I asked you off air after we did the last podcast. When I talked about the secret topics, I said, "Is theater nerdy?"
Oh.
Because like I wanted to kind of wonder. I was like, my gut reaction, knee-jerk reaction, says yes, but I also think that the whole like theater thing, it still has the sort of like higher class like ish feel to it, even though it probably doesn't deserve it or actually really exist. But I'm saying it still kind of exists on another plane as typical like nerdy stuff. So what do you think about that, Danny? Is theater nerdy?
Sorry, I was trying to find a way to word this. I would say yes. Like it is, but this is a more like bias personal thing because the theater program at the school that I'm in, we're all like, we're nerds. I'm just gonna say it like that. I don't really know the best way to describe it, but I would say yes. And I don't know how to elaborate on it more. Like I actually don't know.
Because what I'm thinking is like
my gut instinct is yes, like yours. I would say yes.
See, what I'm thinking is like if you take it as, let's say that you sit down with somebody that you usually talk nerdy things with, like this group, right? Like I know that we play video games. I know that we watch like nerdy movies, like sci-fi or comic book movies, and I know that we do typically nerdy stuff. And I know that there are things that we're all interested in that kind of cross over, or something that I could talk about that I know we've never talked about, and that I just have a feeling that you'll be interested in it, right?
Yeah.
But then theater doesn't really cross over into that. So you could be like, hey, did you see the new, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy? Oh yeah, it was awesome. It's like, oh yeah, have you been checking out the new megas that they're revealing for Pokemon? And it's like, oh yeah, you bet I have. Hey, did you check out this new, this theater thing, this play that I went to see? What the hell are you talking about? Right? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't cross over as easily as other things do. So that was
talking about like theater in general, or like the people who do theater?
No, I'm talking about if it fits in the stereotypical nerd zeitgeist.
See, listeners, this is very, very poor for me because I'm in this program, so I should have an answer, but I don't.
Hey, you're the expert. We actually brought in an expert.
Yeah,
dropping some expert I am.
We brought in a theater student.
Well, no, it's because it's hard to. Because in my circle of friends and here in Hamilton, and some people I know, like, yeah, we like talk about like, oh, have you seen this play, The Book of Mormon? Have you gone to see? Did you see this show in the Hamilton Fringe Festival? Did you see this? Yeah, like we talk about that all the time. Like it actually is in our, in like our circle or our program or our group. Yeah, like that is the kind of stuff we talk about. And at the same time, it's also like it's based on interest as well. Like if you say the same, like if you could talk about like that, like the Pokemon thing with other people who obviously don't play Pokemon, of course they're going to say no. But when you say it on like the whole crossover thing where theater doesn't cross over as much as other things, there are some people in the world who will say that films don't cross over as much to them. Because in fact, there was a play that I was in over the summer. And there was a girl in our play. She doesn't watch movies, which we
what?
like this one guy. Yeah, like
we
were just
thing?
like,
is that possible?
No, it's possible. And funny story, true story. This guy who was in the show with his name was Phil. We said, you know what, what movies have you seen? So we named off movies. We named off Star Wars. She said no. She has not seen any of the Star Wars films. So
that's unusual, but it's not something that is going to blow my mind.
Yeah. No, I know. So what we did was Phil and I, we went to Phil's house, we brought her along, and we watched A New Hope. She fell asleep.
I hate that. See, I hate that when it's like, hey, this is something I enjoy. This is a movie I enjoy and I think it's important. I could at least expect you to sit here for 2 fucking hours and watch it.
No. Calm down. Calm down. I understood her reasoning behind it. It was more like she can't. The way she said it is like she doesn't like watching things for that long. It's kind of a weird thing. It's fine. Like to each their own. But there was something really funny happened. Like we all actually had a good time. It was fine. She like watched part of it, but we also just finished a rehearsal, so she was also dead tired. So that
I know, but I mean, I just mean that notion or that thought where it's just like, or where it's like you're watching a movie and somebody's just like, it's been 5 to 20 minutes or whatever, and it hasn't been awesome or had explosions or had X thing that I like in a movie, so it's terrible.
Oh no, like I don't like it when people say like that. But in her defense, like she told me why she didn't like movies, and she said she falls asleep in movies. In all movies, she says it in all movies. It's very rare where she doesn't. It's because it's just like she said I just don't like watching movies. Like I don't know why. And it was really funny, but when we were watching it, spoilers for all of you who haven't seen Star Wars: A New Hope. Don't know why I'm saying a spoiler warning right now.
We like to be cautious here on Nerdcast.
Exactly. Well, so we were
first.
watching it, and since she hadn't watched Star Wars before, Phil and I were explaining things. We were like, so this is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like the giant mentor guy. He mentors Luke Skywalker, blah, 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 blah. And then she fell asleep for part of the film, and then she wakes up, and it was after Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan. And then she was like, what did I miss? I was like, oh, you missed, they made it to the Death Star, Obi-Wan died. And then she was like, what? And Phil and I were like, yes, because you saw the movie long enough to become emotionally attached to that character. But yeah, no, it was funny. It's like a big joke among all of us now, and she laughs about it. But yeah, no, it's pretty funny.
Well, I mean, like, the best example I have of it is that, like, my parents like Quentin Tarantino's movies, right? Like, and so do I. I'm a big fan. And then so, like, they had never seen Kill Bill. And so I was like, well, I have it. We can watch it and you can see what you think of it, right? And so we watched the first one and I was just like, and the movie was over and I was like, how was that? Was that awesome? And they were like, no, I didn't like it. I didn't want to watch it. And that was after the first part, not even the whole movie. Because the two parts are one movie.
Yeah.
And so I was like, really? And I was like, are you sure we can watch part 2? And they were like, no, I don't want to watch part 2. I was like, ugh. And I was just really mad. I was like, so you like all the other movies that you've seen of his, but you don't like Kill Bill?
Oh, that can happen. I'm a big fan of Joss Whedon. I watched Dollhouse, did not like Dollhouse.
Yeah, no, but I mean, to the point where you won't even technically watch the rest of the movie that you didn't like it.
Well, in that case, I understand because you got to watch all of Kill Bill Part 2 to get the whole experience because it's the entire film.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, so back on topic we were talking about before with like theater and all that. It's just a matter of like the people you talk to, I guess. And that's like my thinking. Like in my group of like friends here in Hamilton or my circle, it crosses over all the time. Especially like it crosses over in Hamilton because Hamilton has like it's become like more. It has become more of like an art city where theater is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So that it's all like where you are kind of thing, or in who you're talking to.
But I mean, like, there's literally not a play that you could ask me if I saw, like, because I don't see plays. So I mean, like, it doesn't cross over into like. I understand that it's like they kind of share a thing where it's like it's really hard to explain. Because I mean, like,
I get where you're going with it, though. I do,
Yeah,
I do understand like what you mean, but I just believe like anything in a sense can be nerdy. It just depends on who you talk to about it. Like, I'm not nerdy. I don't think like in terms of like just like a topic as well. Like, I don't think biochemical engineering is nerdy, but if you talk to a bunch of people who are doing biochemical engineering, of course they're gonna like that's nerdy to them. Like, oh, like we're all really smart at biochemical engineering. I really love theater. Like I think like certain films are nerdy. The girl that I was in the play with doesn't think films are nerdy because she doesn't watch films. But if we're taking it like not in like a personal thing, but in like a broader sense, I do get what you mean about how theater is not as like it's the exposure of theater is not as exposed as say like video games or films or books.
I guess the best way to put it would be it doesn't necessarily overlap on the Venn diagram, but it's definitely on the same page.
Yeah, no, I go. Sorry, just every time I hear like a reference to the Venn diagram, I just laugh. I don't know why. I think it has to do because I watched a comedy thing with Stephen Merchant, and he just made fun of the Venn diagram for about 20 minutes.
Or is it because Venn diagram sounds dirty?
There's that too.
Yeah.
One of the best lines from that comedy routine. Sorry to go off topic, but Stephen Merchant was like, the Venn diagram was created in 1880. It tells us one thing: mankind coped fine from the beginnings of civilization to up until 1880. And why did he call it the Venn diagram? It's not Einstein's theory of relativity here, guys. It's something you learn in grade 4 and then forget about. Sorry, I watched that the other day and it's still funny to this day. Sorry.
But yeah, I guess another analogy would be it's not on the same page in the book, but it's in the book.
I still think it's all just like based on who you're talking to or the environment that you're in. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of falls into like what you were saying. Like if you go into a nerdy group, like I would say that biochemical engineering is pretty damn nerdy, but it doesn't necessarily, like, if you walk into the average group of nerds, whatever that means, whatever you picture that in your head to be, you're not going to bring up theater or biochemical engineering as two things that you think they definitely know about.
See, and that's why I get what you're saying, but again, it's all like different nerds in different environments, I guess, kind of thing.
But yes, even the things that I would say that are the go-to, like video games, sci-fi, nerdy movies, like that sort of thing, they're not guarantees. Like you were saying with that girl that's in your program, that she doesn't watch movies, so.
Yeah.
It's just you have like a 99% chance that it's going to be discussed.
I do think, like, if you're talking about how like theater's not crossing over, it's definitely, I think, getting up there now, especially in our in the environment that I'm in. Like, people who don't know theater around around the McMaster area, more and more of them are getting into theater. So, but I think theater has been always like a niche thing, because whenever people like to do acting, they always think, oh, act on film. We're going to act on film, kind of thing.
Okay.
Or act on TV.
Can we go on a quick tangent here?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
It's niche. It is not niche.
It's niche.
That's my personal pet peeve, just to let you know.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, and I've been saying it wrong for my whole life. So.
Just so you...
Wait, no, I haven't. I've been doing it interchangeably. I don't know why.
Is this like for me with vase and vase, where I just interchange it and it just happens and I don't even consider it?
Yeah, probably.
See, that doesn't bother me, but niche and niche bother me.
Everyone has their own different pet peeves. Like, my pet peeve is when people call PS4 and Xbox One next generation. No, they're current generation.
Yeah, I think there's a window, and I think we might still be in the window.
I think we're past the window.
I personally think we are past the window as well.
I think that we're not in the window because I don't own one yet, so...
That's why it's hard for me to think about it, but I get why people are saying, no, PS3, Xbox 360, they're all last generation, because everything's coming out now on PS4 and Xbox One, including games from those PS3 and Xbox 360 being ported over to Xbox One and PS4.
Technically,
is The Last of Us going to be the best game on PS4 when PS4 has done its cycle?
No, that would be stupid. Sorry. Hold on. Okay, let's go back to what we were talking about before. So yeah, like, do you get what I mean though when I talk about theater being nerdy?
Yeah.
I think. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. And Phil and myself, our plan is still to get our friend to watch Empire Strikes Back, because we've told her that Empire Strikes Back is infinitely better than most movies out there.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, we can have an entire podcast on why the Empire Strikes Back is just so good.
Oh no! Don't give him ideas, Danny.
There is a planned Star Wars Nerdcast coming up.
Yeah.
So
we also had a planned Final Fantasy Rantcast, which would just be me yelling.
That's gonna happen. That is definitely gonna happen.
Because it's like something happened like a couple weeks ago that reignited my rant rage.
Save your fodder. Hold your fire here, Danny.
Batman.
Calm the ginger rage.
There was another tangential topic. I think it's somewhat related to video games, but I can't really remember what it was.
Let's hear it.
No, that was related to theater. I think it was something about it was with the advent of like motion capture and stuff like that. Do you think that theater training is going to be much more important, considering you're working with a space and you're working with objects in like an actual environment, right? I think theater? That it's the translation from, let's say, like movie acting to motion capture, or theater acting to motion capture. I'm thinking that theater to motion capture is a much shorter jump. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, it's an important stage we're in right now.
Theater to motion capture, I think, makes sense because, like, with like motion capture, it's very physical. Yeah. Like it's a very physical thing, and I've taken physical acting courses, and you might as well put like dots on my face sometimes and put me in a mocap suit, because the kind of stuff that we did in that class can be directly put onto like into like a video game for motion capture, or into a CG film for motion capture. Because acting, especially like film acting, if you're on set or something, a lot of it's like close up. It's more facial stuff. At least the way I'm looking at it. You get more of the facial expressions, and in theater you got to use your voice and your body a lot more to get to like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It's to project what you're trying to say or the story you're trying to tell. And it's that reason why my girlfriend Jamie, who loves films, likes to sit in the front row when we go see plays, because she likes to see all of it. She likes to see the facial features of the people on stage, because we still do that. At least all the people I know who act on stage, we do that. So because if you're playing a CG character, like let's take Andy Serkis for instance.
I was going to bring that up.
You might as well not even cast him as a live action role, because he's going to be doing CG.
He actually has a live action role in the next Avengers, apparently.
Yeah,
really?
I read that. That actually shocked me. That
cool.
shocked me.
Is this going to be his first live action role? Is this going to be his first live action role, or no?
I think so. They brought him on as a consultant for Mark Ruffalo doing the Hulk.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess this kind of found a part for him.
But you're here. Star Wars, he's gonna do a huge CG role. You just know.
Oh yeah.
But no, because if you see someone like Gollum, on screen for
Caesar, Planet of the Apes.
I was just about to say that.
They're all like the way Gollum moves and everything, and the way all these CG characters move. A lot of that is you need intense physical acting training, because that takes I couldn't do that.
Well, I mean, I think there's been two movies, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but there's been two movies there's a big jump between, artificial characters. And what I just mean by that is by, a costume or something like that, where it's I'll just say the movies. The movie is E.T. and the new, maybe not the newest Planet of the Apes, but, the first reboot one.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, well... Yeah.
Or are you talking the 2001 reboot?
I'm talking the one that just came out. Which one is that? Is that Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Dawn just came out.
Okay, so
are you talking about the James Franco?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that's Rise.
Yeah, that's Rise.
Okay,
that's
yes, Rise. The reboot of this particular one that we're in right now. But what I mean by that is to take a character that's 100, that's not even human, that is 100% another creature. And not only that is, it's, in the case of E.T., it's a costume.
Yeah.
And in the case of Caesar, it's computer animated. But yet, the movies are driven by those two characters, by the audience connection to two, not real, for lack of a better term, characters. So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And that means a lot of, that's excellent for video games too, especially when you consider because you're technically not, I mean, you are watching a real person, but you also aren't because it's pixels on a screen.
Yeah. No, and like especially with if we go back to what I was saying about like the physical acting thing, one of the physical acting courses that I took, one of the things we had to do was when we were doing like warm up exercises, it was imagine yourself as this type of element. How would you be as a fire? How would you be as water? How would you be as air, as earth? And then there were other things like apparently like last summer there was a physical acting intensive course that I actually was not in, but a lot of my friends were in it, and they said, imagine yourself as like a leaf or a snowflake or
A leaf on the wind.
See,
shut up, shut your mouth. Or like, and you can also like imagine how would you act as say like a wolf, or how would you act as say like a tiny little ant.
I understand how important these exercises are, but it makes me really remember how stupid drama classes are.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love
Oh
it.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's just like it's really weird from the outside, right?
Yeah,
Like,
from an outside perspective, it's freaky.
See, let's just put it this way. So the studio where we work in is this like temporary building. When I say temporary, it's been there for 45 years. But so it's in this building, and we have an entire like dedicated theater studio, and there are other classrooms in that building where sometimes people write exams. Like it's exam classes, and we were doing the acting course I was talking about, and one of the things we had to do was, okay, I want you to open the door, walk into the room, and just start trying to find a guy named Bill. So like start screaming, hey Bill, where are you? And some people in the class went fucking crazy with it. Like they were like screaming, Bill, where the fuck are you? And I was in the bathroom at the time, and I walked out, and I'm walking in the classroom, and I see a door open down the hall, and people's like they're just leaning out, trying to like wondering what's going on, and someone's asking me like, is everything okay in there? And I'm just looking at them.
what's wrong with Bill?
I was like, we can't find Bill. Like, we just can't find Bill. And we walked in the classroom, but a girl I work with was writing an exam in that building at the time we were doing a rehearsal, and she heard like noises coming from the class. She's like, what was going on? And they're like, oh, that was just us doing rehearsal. So from the outside, people are like if you're not in the program, you're not in like the classes. From the outside, shit just sounds weird, man.
These theater kids are just so weird.
Like I remember in high school, if we went downstairs in the basement, you walk by the drama room, you see people running around like screaming at each other, and if you're like a science kid, you're like, what the hell are they doing?
See, us music kids just got used to it after a
Yeah,
while.
you guys were in that area, so.
Yeah, but there's no, when you're a music kid, you can't just, like, once you leave the drama room, you're back to normal. When you're a music kid, you're just always weird.
Yeah, I know.
I love how, like, at our high school, like, the arts, like, music and drama pretty much ran the school. The way I look at it, like,
yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, like the music teacher, like the head of the music department, the head of the drama department, they ran the whole thing.
Yeah, if we wanted something, we got it pretty much.
Listeners, our school never had a musical, and that is because, Will, why don't you say?
Our teachers were too headstrong.
Yep, our teachers were way too stubborn. They didn't want to work with each other. And
Fantastic at what they did.
Yes, fantastic. We'll see. Will and I are experts on this because I did drama and Will did music in high school, and he knows like. Half the music class was also in the drama program.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of tension during like plays and stuff when we had rehearsals, but the music professor was just, or the music teacher was just like, yeah, where are my kids? Why are they out with you guys? Why are they doing this? And the same thing would happen with here. Like our drama teacher would be like, they can't skip rehearsals for anything. No, they're not allowed. It was, and we never had a musical because of it. And I was disappointed. I wouldn't have auditioned because I can't sing. I make ears bleed, but it would have been fine.
I would love to do a musical.
Yeah, like musicals are great. McMaster does amazing musicals.
Yeah, I conducted.
Like, you conducted musicals like well. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I conducted Rent and I played in Jekyll and Hyde. So much fun.
I know. And how much I love musicals? I'm seeing the Book of Mormon, and so as well.
Me too.
Not at the same day though, but we are.
Okay, let's try to round this back in.
Yeah, let's go next topic.
But so no, I was going to say back onto like the motion capture and theater. I guess it would also depend on whether or not you were talking about if it's a directed cutscene or if it's a scene that's happening and you still have control of the camera. Because I think that if it's a directed cutscene, then it's more in the vein of a movie. But I mean, if it's just when you think of The Last of Us, right? Like there are cutscenes in it, and that's like cinematics, right? But I mean, like, the scenes where you're just playing and, like, your stuff's happening and, like, Ellie's doing something and, like, you have to, like, kind of pay attention. You can, like, I mean, just stuff like that that's happening. I think that would be more of a theater thing. Because, like, the player can view that from any angle and it's, like, it's a set. All right? And that's more important, I would think, in theater than something like on a TV show. At least nowadays, the way it's filmed.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed the last 30 seconds of that because my headset was falling off my head and it was tangled.
Danny.
I'm sorry, I blew it.
I was just saying that I think that it would depend on whether or not a game is using cinematic cutscenes or in-game cutscenes where you still have control of the character on whether or not it would be more beneficial to have like a movie-style direction or a theater-style direction when you're doing the motion capture.
So when you're in game, like theater,
yeah,
I believe
yeah.
where you go. Okay, yeah, all right, I missed that part, but
Yeah.
okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
I was just saying that I think that would be more prevalent, and I think that from a gameplay perspective, that's something that we need to move ahead with. We need to move away from like movie cutscenes, even though they do play an important role as of right now. I don't think they're necessary.
No.
Well, I'm big fans of like games where when you like the cutscenes and the gameplay are just it's so seamless. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 did that, where it was all seamless and stuff.
Yeah, and then the same as like the moments that made The Last of Us weren't necessarily the cutscenes, even though there were some awesome cutscenes. But I mean, like there were the little moments that while you were playing, and it was just stuff that was happening, like stuff that was Ellie was doing, stuff that you were seeing, stuff that like just things that were happening in the gameplay made the game more so than the cutscenes made.
You're talking about like moments like, let's say we're the part where you're in the record store, you're walking around, you're looking at Ellie, she's like going through the
giraffes, aren't you?
You see the giraffes.
Yeah, stuff like that.
How Ellie just like drops everything and goes to look at the giraffe. It's those little moments.
Yes. And I mean like something like that where it's like where you have control of where you're looking and what you're seeing, and it's like I think it's more so the stage than it is a set or a scene in a movie sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because like,
can I just say that I'm glad we're like talking about theater. I love when we talk about my program. Is that very arrogant of me? Like,
No.
I'm just saying, like I just love the shit.
You might as well use your advantage. Use your powers for good.
We have some use for you now, Danny.
Well, I'm not that smart when it comes to
But I was going to say, like when you're on a stage, it's like that stage has to be everything. That's the world. Mm-hmm. Whereas on a theater set or a movie or something, you can move to somewhere else and you can shoot there, and you're restricted by what you actually have, by what's in the real world. Whereas you have to make the stage into your world, right?
Yeah. Like, Will, you saw what we did for A Midsummer Night's Dream, right?
Yeah.
Like we, the entire set was like just the forest, and we made it so like and also if you know like the entire The entire play doesn't all take place in the forest. Like, Act 1 and Act 5 take place in Athens, I believe it was. I actually
think so.
Yeah, so we had to find a way to make the forest and the Athenian world, or Athens, be in the same place, and that's really hard to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I wasn't the set designer for that show. Like, I was in the class that designed it, but I wasn't the set. And a lot of work was done on the set. A lot of work.
Yeah, so
I
basically,
know the guy who did it. He was like sweating buckets by the end of it.
The point that I was making, kind of connecting back again, was when you're doing a mocap,
right?
You have to work within the area that you're mocapping with little to no like reference to what's going on, right? It's whatever this gray box with dots on it is a table or a car or whatever, right? And that kind of relates back to the theater a little bit. I know that you work with actual props, but you get what I'm saying. Right. Where it's like you have to. It's abstract, more abstract than a movie. Whereas you don't film like a CGI mocap green screen thing in the actual environment that's going to be in the game or the whatever, right? It's just a square room that you have to make that. So that's where I'm saying that the theater training comes more into play than in like a movie training or traditional acting.
Was it Ian McKellen who had a little bit of a meltdown on the set of The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't hear about that. Explain.
He didn't entirely grasp what they were doing with all the green screens and all like the fake hobbits that he had to work with, because it was just him in his Gandalf costume in a small room.
Wait, was this on the set of The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
I'm pretty sure it was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Lord of the Rings.
I thought the Lord of the Rings didn't use a lot of like green screen CGI stuff. I thought that was more practical stuff.
They used some.
Because I know like that's one of the big what's it called? That's one of the big criticisms about The Hobbit is how the majority of it is all CGI when they made a film like Lord of the Rings look so good with practical effects.
Well, how do you think they're cranking out 3 movies in what? There's going to be like a movie every 2 years or whatever?
For the
Every
Hobbit?
year.
Well,
Is it every year?
They did the same thing with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, like 1, 2, and 3 came out year after year.
Well, it's just because they film them all at the same time.
Did the same thing with The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess maybe that's not a good point. Okay, I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Maybe we can
Theater for life.
Yeah, talk about a bit about theater on another episode.
Theater.
Maybe.
Remember, listeners, if you are in environmental science, you have my permission to switch into theater. I'm not telling you to change your major halfway through your undergrad, but
That's a bad idea.
yeah, it's a bad idea. What asshole would do that?
Yeah, I know. Just some jerkwad.
I know. God. Yeah, I don't regret it.